Hey, what's up guys, Julian here. In today's video, we're going over the week of November 29th, 2021. This week finished up on negative 4.05 handles. The overall trades were pretty decent. However, there's a few stop and ideas that had the inappropriate context. Right. So the first trade we have here is the Russell. Decided to go short, and this one pretty simple really. However, the stop was a bit too small. So over here we have this kind of internal swing. However, one thing that I am paying attention to more is swings that achieve versus swings that are just internal. Now it did happen that this swing achieved. So I'm talking about the last swing broke idea. So over here we had the last swing that achieved, it broke, then it came back, it grew, gap. So to me, this is more of a gap swap than necessarily anything to do with this projected major. So there's that. So that's really the distinction I want to make. So it was a gap swap. Look at this big ass gap, and this is the actual gap. I did refresh the feed to make sure that I had all the data. Anyways, so what did it do? A gap went down here. Consider this one line balance. With this kind of one line balance, it's more of a subtle swing, and for that the stop has to be above kind of the top pivot. If it's a really concrete swap of say this kind of level right here, then yeah, the stop can be a bit smaller or a bit more localized rather, because really if it comes down here, it should pivot around this area and go down. However, this is more of a subtle swing, and well, I paid for it. It did end up going to target, so interesting. Okay, so next up we have a long in the ES. Pretty simple really. The current flows to the upside, and I'm targeting this kind of long, bigger idea press, which is fine. It's within the realm of this swing. I saw the market kind of consolidating, kind of playing around with this press, and I decided to accept it. And I was following this minor flow and decided to take my chances again, purely based on the swing as well as the kill zone. So this was kind of a repeated behavior. Actually, no, it wouldn't be a repeated behavior because it only happened once, and I was assuming it was going to happen again. Interesting. Regardless, the one line balance did help me out because it was doing a frequency lower, very subtle low. It swapped and it was coming back. In fact, more than likely the swing grew, and it probably grew to the one line balance. So if I do it from here, right, if you look, so that's interesting, right? We had minor swings, or rather we were following the blue one, and I was following the blue one. I did not consider this swing in real time. However, I was playing for something a bit lower or a bit deeper, kind of where the swing was, or the new high, this new high here really was birthed. And I saw this as some break, some fall into, really where it started, the kill zone. And it tried again, tried, and it just failed. And interesting enough, once it zoomed here, once it kind of gave up, retest, and it started going back down. Not too sure what happened at the end of this, but it goes to show that this area was a good place for it to go. It didn't happen. Comes back for the retest. I wasn't looking to go short. This is 10. Well, I guess I could have, but nah, I'm fine with it. See what the market does. And plus, we were just falling into this guy. So maybe you could take a short here with the stop above this pivot, because it's really said no. This is where the down move, where my entry said no, the timing was wrong. Short back down to here conservatively. Anyways, so that was fine. I'm okay with that trade. So this one, what are we looking at? Yeah. So this is a phenomenon that I'm starting to go over as time goes on, where we have the initial momentum or the initial rhythm, right? Then the rhythm grew, and so this is expansion. expand, continue. And when it returns to the expansion area, I'm looking for a continuation. However, seemingly it doesn't do that very often. So it expands once, goes, achieves, and then to say that it will go again, it doesn't seem like it's likely. Now, it's not that it's going to be 100%. I found examples where it doesn't do that, but more often than not, it starts doing something more complex once it does or attempts to do the expansion or the new major swing based on the expand continue swing, right? So it's interesting. And that's about it, really, about this trade. The idea could be lacking. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but this is the week that I started noticing this. So we'll see how that plays out. And of course, I decided to flip the idea because, well, why not? And what ended up happening, it came down to here. Then it went to the gap and went all the way up to here. So me flipping the tortilla, flipping the tortilla or flipping my bias to go long was correct, except my timing was wicked off. Of course, I used this swing again. Would this be an internal swing? Maybe. I see why I took the stop, took the entry. It's just the question is, if I'm basing off of this press, right? Because this press right here, it really defined the success of this expansion, right? Two-wave pullback, flip side, short right here would have been perfect. Too bad I didn't take it. I might have that written as an idea. I'm not too sure, but you know, it would make a lot of sense. Two-wave pullback, flip this guy. It didn't break this one, but comparatively, here, let me draw it out so that way it's a bit more distinct and clear what I'm trying to convey. So really, you have this blue swing here, and then it lands probably around there. Yeah. So it tries to go, nope, and then right here. So this is one of those cases where it's not going to break necessarily the previous swing. But, you know, when we have this press and this overextension, right? And if you want to really go about your day or really want to go, it's not too bad. So if this would be drawn as a one-line balance, it didn't go too far away, but it is interesting nevertheless. So why would I want to go long here instead? Well, maybe I can pull off of this one, you know, pull off of this swing, and it lands pretty nicely. It didn't swap this press, because remember, the reason why I went long was based on this press, right? And this has to do, oh yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense now that I'm reviewing this. So was it a few months ago? Maybe it was a few months ago. Regardless, or a few weeks ago. Regardless, I did make note that when we have an area that we're looking to swap, there's two types of swaps. There's BAM direct swap, something like this, right? And then there's this one where sellers, they refresh the level. So they redefine where they were. So sellers were here, right? But then what happened? Sellers came back. They show themselves. Then they got zoomed, right? So who got zoomed? Well, this pivot definitely got zoomed, right? Ideally, this is the context behind it. This is where our latest sellers are. Did they achieve? No, they didn't. So something that makes sense. But these guys, they're our last achieving. So when we have this zoom, we're thinking, well, did the press swap? Well, relative to the press, no. But the sellers that were made the press are back here again. Or at least maybe there's new sellers that see this and want to short the market. Whoever's there was fresh sellers, a fresh line in the sand. They got zoomed and we can trade some back here, right? So that's really the idea behind that one. Very interesting. All right, well. Oh, and that's the thumbnail. Okay, so what's some comments that we can write? Really, I think the idea Most of it is behind here. So the expansion, after expand, continue, expand, or after the expansion episode achieves, be cautious. That's not even spelled cautious. Whether or not to base the new major on that expanded swing. So I'm not trying to be definitive about this or never to take trades based on the expansion swing, but something to take notice of. And over time, we'll make something of it. And then the last one was just a reminder, really reminder. Swap or sellers / buyers of a swap area can redefine the line, or can redefine the line in the sand. Okay, so really it's just the idea behind, well, we're looking for this area to get swapped, and as soon as this happened, that's new information, and they got swapped pretty clearly. Therefore, consider the swap active, even though maybe it didn't clear the original idea. Remember, it's you have to go with what the market's showing you. So I think that's it for today, for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, adios.